At face value. As it appears without analysis. At face value, the plan looks simple, but its execution requires much more effort. We shouldn't judge people's success at face value, it rarely shows the full struggle. People often judge information at face value, leading to widespread misinformation. So far so good. Things are fine up to now. The experiment yielded promising outcomes, so far so good with the data collected. She's adjusting to college life. So far so good, though homesickness hits sometimes. The plan is working as expected, so far so good despite minor obstacles encountered. Believe it or not. Surprisingly, though it's true. Public opinion, believe it or not, can influence court decisions in controversial trials. Believe it or not, some animals exhibit signs of empathy and emotional intelligence. Believe it or not, she taught herself 5 languages without ever taking formal classes. On a daily basis. Happening every single day. Language learners must practice speaking skills on a daily basis to improve fluency. On a daily basis, I try to set small goals that gradually build toward my bigger dreams. People consume processed foods on a daily basis, risking long-term health problems. At the forefront. In a leading or advanced position. Technology remains at the forefront of shaping how we communicate and connect. Artificial intelligence is at the forefront of modern technological development today. This nation is at the forefront of addressing climate change through legal frameworks. That's a fair point. What you said is reasonable. That's a fair point. Renewable energy still requires rare earth materials for production. That's a fair point when evaluating the effectiveness of standardized testing in schools. The opponent argued higher taxes discourage investment, and that's a fair point indeed. For the most part. Generally or in most cases. She followed the instructions correctly for the most part, missing only one small step. For the most part, people feel more fulfilled when they pursue meaningful work daily. For the most part, wildfires occur naturally, but human activity intensifies their spread. The bottom line is, the most important or final point. The bottom line is that everyone faces setbacks, but resilience will push you forward. The bottom line is excuses don't build dreams, only focused action will get you there. The bottom line is that action must be taken to reduce carbon emissions immediately. To wrap things up. To finish or conclude something. Let's take one last question to wrap things up and conclude this productive discussion. To wrap things up, strong leadership remains vital for long-term national development. To wrap things up, never underestimate the power of small steps taken every single day. On second thought. After reconsidering or thinking again. On second thought, maybe quitting my job without a backup wasn't a wise decision. The argument was convincing, but on second thought, additional evidence is necessary. On second thought, we'll delay the launch until we double-check the navigation system. To put it bluntly. Speaking directly, without softening. To put it bluntly, some scientific theories still lack enough empirical data to be proven. To put it bluntly, our service quality has dropped and customers are losing patience fast. Your explanation makes no sense. To put it bluntly, please clarify what you really mean. For the time being. Temporarily or for now only. He's staying single for the time being, to focus entirely on personal growth and goals. The results remain inconclusive for the time being, due to insufficient clinical evidence. For the time being, let's keep this discussion confidential, until we finalize the decision. In the long run. Eventually or over time. In the long run, staying patient helps you overcome challenges and achieve success. In the long run, biodiversity loss could threaten global food production and nutrition. In the long run, hard work and integrity always lead to greater satisfaction and success. As a matter of fact. Actually, in reality or truthfully. As a matter of fact, global warming affects agricultural productivity in many regions. As a matter of fact, discipline and routine increase your chances of long-term success. As a matter of fact, taking breaks improves productivity more than working non-stop. Go the extra mile. Do more than what's expected. True leaders go the extra mile by supporting their team through difficult times. To truly innovate, scientists must go the extra mile beyond conventional boundaries. Volunteers go the extra mile when helping communities affected by natural disasters. For the sake of. For the benefit or purpose of. For the sake of peace, everyone must listen and respect differing opinions here. For the sake of future generations, environmental protection must be a top priority. Strict traffic laws were introduced for the sake of reducing accident-related fatalities. It goes without saying. Clearly understood without explanation. It goes without saying that parents influence children's behavior and attitudes deeply. It goes without saying that corruption weakens public trust in government institutions. It goes without saying that taking care of your health is crucial for long-term happiness. In the meantime, during the intervening time period, she applied for university admission. In the meantime, she's working part-time locally. In the meantime, try to maintain a positive attitude despite facing some setbacks now. In the meantime, I'll gather all the necessary information before making a final decision. Let me sleep on it. Decide after thinking overnight. The plan needs careful thought. Let me sleep on it before we move forward together. During negotiations, it's helpful to let me sleep on it rather than decide immediately. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Let me sleep on it and think things through clearly. On the flip side, looking at the opposite perspective. Automation increases efficiency. On the flip side, it causes job losses in some sectors. Economic growth is strong. On the flip side, inequality continues to widen significantly. On the flip side, working from home offers flexibility, but sometimes causes distractions. In full swing. At the peak of activity. Research activities were in full swing before the pandemic interrupted all operations. The marketing campaign was in full swing when new competitors entered the market. The festival is in full swing with music, food stalls, and joyful celebrations everywhere. In the aftermath. Following a significant or bad event. Social unrest intensified in the aftermath of the controversial policy announcement. In the aftermath of the crisis, many reforms were introduced to prevent recurrence. Increases in crime rates occurred in the aftermath of social and economic instability. In the nick of time. Just in time, barely early enough. The rescue team arrived in the nick of time, before the floodwaters surged higher. The document was recovered in the nick of time before being permanently deleted. They caught the train in the nick of time, after running through the crowded station. Let's keep going. Continue without stopping now. Let's keep going despite setbacks. Perseverance is the key to achieving your dreams. The initial results are promising, so let's keep going to refine this innovative method. Although progress is slow, let's keep going to achieve the desired social reforms soon. It's not a big deal. It's not important or serious. It's not a big deal if you need extra time. Just communicate and stay honest always. Although the mistake was noticeable, the supervisor said it's not a big deal overall. Losing small amounts of money occasionally is common, and really it's not a big deal. If I'm not mistaken. Unless I'm wrong about that. The graph, if I'm not mistaken, illustrates a significant increase in population growth. This method, if I'm not mistaken, improves efficiency by reducing unnecessary steps. If I'm not mistaken, we agreed to submit the report before the team meeting begins. I'm inclined to think. I'm likely to believe that. When weighing benefits, I'm inclined to think investing in renewable energy is wise. I'm inclined to think investing in education is the best way to ensure lifelong success. I'm inclined to think that focusing on small daily improvements will lead to big results. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand my intention. This solution, don't get me wrong, works sometimes but is not universally effective. Don't get me wrong, the internet connects people, but it can spread misinformation. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate your help, but I think we need a different approach. I take your point. I understand your argument clearly. I take your point, sometimes patience is more important than immediate action. Some critics say technology isolates us, but I take your point with some reservations. I take your point about standardized testing, but alternative methods also have flaws. That's beside the point. That's irrelevant to this matter. His experience is impressive, though that's beside the point for this particular issue. The method was unconventional, though that's beside the point if it achieved success. Any minor errors, that's beside the point, overall conclusions remain valid and reliable. I'm on the fence about it. Undecided or uncertain about it. Given the available information, I'm on the fence about it and need further analysis. When considering online learning, I'm on the fence about it due to mixed outcomes. In terms of remote work, I'm on the fence about it because of productivity concerns. That's a fair point. A reasonable or valid argument made. That's a fair point about rising pollution, though industries need transition periods. That's a fair point about food security, especially in urban marginalized communities. That's a fair point. Sometimes motivation comes from challenges, not just rewards. At the end of the day. After considering everything involved. At the end of the day, your mindset determines how well you overcome obstacles. The economy, at the end of the day, is influenced by both domestic and global factors. At the end of the day, education determines a country's long-term economic success. From my perspective. According to my personal view or opinion. The solution, from my perspective, requires a balance between efficiency and ethics. The proposal, from my perspective, does not align with realistic financial expectations. From my perspective, staying curious opens up new opportunities in every stage of life. To make a long story short. Summarizing or skipping the details. She tried several treatments. To make a long story short, nothing worked effectively. She resigned. To make a long story short, the leadership was constantly unsupportive. To make a long story short, practicing daily helped me improve faster than expected. I couldn't agree more. I agree with you completely. I couldn't agree more that education is the foundation of sustainable development. I couldn't agree more that cultural diversity enriches society and promotes tolerance. I couldn't agree more. Learning from failure is crucial to becoming stronger and wiser. It's a double-edged sword. Has both benefits and drawbacks. Globalization, it's a double-edged sword that promotes trade, yet risks cultural loss. Tourism, it's a double-edged sword, generates income but damages cultural heritage. Technology, it's a double-edged sword, advancing life but increasing privacy concerns. On the contrary. Actually, it's the opposite instead. You might think failure stops growth. On the contrary, it teaches valuable lessons. Many think urban life is stressful. On the contrary, it offers numerous opportunities. Critics argue that online learning is ineffective. On the contrary, it provides flexibility. All things considered. Weighing all relevant aspects fairly. All things considered, staying calm helped me handle the situation much better today. All things considered, renewable energy sources are more sustainable than fossil fuels. All things considered, helping others gives my life a much deeper meaning and purpose. Off the top of my head. Without preparation or prior thought. Off the top of my head, celebrating small wins keeps you motivated in difficult times. Off the top of my head, meditation and journaling can really help manage daily stress. I don't have the numbers, but off the top of my head, the growth rate looks promising. We're on the same page. We understand each other exactly. The committee agreed, and we're on the same page concerning healthcare reforms. It's great that we're on the same page about prioritizing health and personal growth. It's reassuring that we're on the same page about making time for self-reflection daily. It's not rocket science. It's not very complicated or difficult. Improving writing skills is achievable because it's not rocket science to practice daily. Understanding this concept, it's not rocket science, but students often feel confused. Learning to stay calm under pressure is not rocket science, just practice and patience. Without a doubt. Absolutely certain, no question about it. The benefits of exercise for mental health are, without a doubt, widely documented. Without a doubt, access to clean water is essential for sustainable development goals. Without a doubt, maintaining a positive mindset improves your ability to handle stress. In the nick of time. Just before something bad happens. In the nick of time, scientists discovered the cure before the disease spread widely. The rescue team arrived in the nick of time, before the building collapsed completely. The firefighters arrived in the nick of time, preventing the fire from spreading further. In black and white. Clearly written or officially documented. The agreement was clearly stated in black and white, leaving no room for confusion. The rules are explained in black and white, to guarantee fairness during examinations. The law must be followed exactly, as it appears in black and white without exceptions. On the right track. Proceeding correctly or appropriately. With consistent effort, you're on the right track to improve your language skills fast. The company's recent sales figures show it is on the right track towards profitability. The research team is on the right track to developing a successful cancer treatment. For better or worse. Regardless of good or bad outcomes. Families must adapt to changing social norms, for better or worse, in today's society. For better or worse, technology has transformed how we live and communicate today. We made the decision together, for better or worse, and now we must follow through. At the 11th hour. At the very last possible moment. The athlete qualified for the final round, at the 11th hour despite earlier doubts. The team revised the strategy at the 11th hour, to gain a competitive advantage. The negotiations were successful, but only at the 11th hour after long discussions. At the mercy of. Completely controlled by something else. During the storm, the ship was completely at the mercy of the powerful ocean waves. Migrant workers are sometimes at the mercy of exploitative labor conditions abroad. Many local businesses remain at the mercy of fluctuating market prices and demand. At a glance. Upon quick or first look. At a glance, one can see that urban areas experience more pollution than rural zones. The graph, at a glance, illustrates the rapid rise in global temperatures over decades. At a glance, the data suggests a steady increase in global temperatures over decades.